Hey y'all, it's Active Mom. I am here to do my response to the virtual homeschool co-op. I think it's assignment number 5. I am behind, but I'm going to try to catch up on number 3 and number 4. This one, if I'm going to put the link in the description below to the virtual homeschool co-ops. And if you homeschool, you need to check it out because it is awesome. This week, there were a couple of questions. Why do we homeschool? And has your reasons changed? And we have 3 children. One is graduated and is an adult. And I have 3 different reasons for why we homeschool. So let's start with the oldest and work our way to the youngest. We have a daughter. She's 20 now, and we homeschooled her because she was a competition dancer. And look, I have notes this week. Amazing. I actually wrote all this out. She was a competition dancer whenever she was younger, all the way up through most of high school. And let me back up a minute. We live in Pensacola, Florida, which is the same town that Abeka Books is originated from. And all 3 of my children have gone to the Abeka school. It's called Pensacola Christian Academy, and PCA for short. In fact, I went to Pensacola Christian. My sister went to Pensacola Christian. It's been here for years, since I believe 1970. If you don't know how strict Pensacola Christian Academy is, I believe you could probably Google it, or maybe it's on YouTube. I know there were some videos out there about how strict they are. I don't know if PCA has made them take them down or what, but if you don't know how strict they are, you just have no idea. And some of the things I agreed with, some of the things not so much. Let's see. And some of the things hasn't changed since 1970 when they opened. I am serious on that. When I went to school there, it's the same rules as when my daughter was there 10 years later, when my son started school there. It's just they have not changed their ways at all on all of their rules. And like I said, there are some rules that I think are just great. I love them. Love the rules. I like that they are advanced in their curriculum. I'm not saying PCA is a bad school. No, just some of their rules are very strict. So let me get back to my daughter. So she's a competition dancer. That's ballet, tap, jazz, lyrical, all that kind of stuff, all right? And when you hit the 6th grade, you have to sign a contract. The student has to sign a contract with the school that you want, like, of course, smoke or drink. Those are fine, no problem, but you can't listen to any secular music. And to them, secular music is anything besides the old hymns that are in a hymnal at your church. Any of these artists, we just had Stephen Curtis Chapman at our church this past Saturday. Nobody from PCA would have been able to go see him because it's against the rules, and you can get kicked out of the school if you get caught. So, those type rules are just, to me, crazy. We live in a world where you need to reach out to sinners, and if that means that you are in, not sinners, you need to reach out to the world. And if you are in a environment that they are in, but they see that you live a totally different life than them, and they want to be like you because you're a Christian and you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't curse, you don't do these things, then I think that's a good witness to non-believers. So things like that just bothered me because they, it's limiting your capability of reaching the lost to me. But anyway, that's my personal opinion. Anyway, so in 6th grade, you have to sign this contract with them. And so she would have had to quit dance altogether. You can cheer, and you can wear, you know how cheerleading, some of their costumes are even skimpier than dance costumes. And so you could cheer, but you just couldn't dance, which, again, I didn't agree with that. So anyway, we knew we were going to move her. So I said, well, let's pull her out in 5th grade so that she can get used to another school before she hits the middle school years. So we pulled her out and put her into another private school here in town that cost like 2 or 3 times the amount that Pensacola Christian cost, just so that she could dance on top, and that's on top of all of the dance expenses and everything. So anyway, we put her in that school, and the first 4 weeks of the school, her grades went from, she was an AB honor roll student at PCA. Well, actually, she didn't make the AB honor roll because she had 2 Bs. You can only have 1 B to make the AB honor roll. Anyway, another dumb rule. Anyway, but her grades went from A's and B's to C's, D's, and F's. And she was bringing home more and more homework, and I was having to teach her everything all over again. It was review stuff, but she still needed help because they taught it in a different way than PCA. With PCA, you do things in a certain way all the time. There's no deviations from it. Every teacher teaches the same way. There is no deviation from it. So she was having a hard time understanding what that was all about. So I told my husband, I talked to some of the mothers at the dance studio because some of them homeschooled already. And I kept telling my husband, I said, we're spending like $400 a month on this school, and I'm having to teach her. I really think that I could do it. And at that time, I was working out of the home. I didn't have an office to go to. I only had an office the first 4 months out of the year during tax season. And then we came home and worked from there. And so we had to leave her in for 6 weeks because we had paid for 6 weeks and they would not give a refund. So when we decided that we were going to homeschool, I took those last 2 weeks and went and did some research on what to do. One of the other parents had a daughter that was the same age as my daughter, and they were doing the Abeka system. So I just went to PCA and I bought the whole 5th grade curriculum, teacher workbooks, everything. And so that's how we started with her. I homeschooled her for 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. And then to me, because I was brand new to this, and back then there wasn't a whole lot of support really that you got, or help understanding things. And she had gotten to a point in all of her subjects that I felt like she was too far advanced for me. So we put her back. We found a good public school. It was an A school, and we got her in there. A little finagling to get her in, but we got her in there. She finished out her 8th grade year. She was in almost all advanced courses. She was accepted into it's not a charter school, but you can only get into it if you, if you're a good student, you've not had any problems with the deans, your grades are good. stuff like that. So we got her into there, and she picked biomedical science to go into because it was a career-oriented school. So once you picked your career, you were going to learn some of that every single year. She went through that high school, not one problem at all. She was a great student. She graduated with a 4.3 GPA. And so, you know, pat on the back. I think those 3 years of homeschooling really brought her to where she was, you know, when she graduated, to where she is now. She's done great. She moved out, I believe, 2 years ago, I believe it was. And she's just a workaholic right now. She has 2 jobs. She's planning on going back to a school, a school for, I can't even talk right now, a hairdressing school. But she's working 2 jobs so that she can pay for it on her own. So we are very proud of her. Now,